This is Lynda Lippin, and I wanted to talk to you briefly today about the importance of pelvic stability to lower back strength and abdominal strength. The more pelvic stability you have, the less back pain you're going to have, period, end of discussion. And that's been my experience both in my own body and in working with literally thousands of clients over the past 20-odd years. So the way we first look for pelvic stability in Pilates is with you laying on your back. So if you're on your back on a mat, and I'm going to move my arm up so you can see what my back is doing. Most of us tend to live either in what we call a posterior pelvic tilt, where the hip bones drop behind the pubic bones and the lower back flattens. And as I do the posterior pelvic tilt, we can see that I start to get more weight into my shoulders and my neck, which is another common problem, tightness in that area in most people. The other common fault that we see in terms of pelvic stability when just lying down is people who rock way too far forward. And they kind of live here with the hip bones forward of the pubic bones. This kind of posture then leads to very, very tight back and almost no abdominal strength whatsoever, because it's hard to strengthen the abdominals when your bones are already in a position to hyperextend those muscles. So what we're always looking for in Pilates and in other forms of exercise is the ability to hold the pelvis steady in some kind of middle position. The way we find the middle is starting with pelvic rocking. So as you're breathing and just keeping the abdominal muscles in, you just start to rock your hip bones backwards and rock your hip bones forwards. And then you go from a tilt into an arch. And you go a few times in the extremes in each direction, and you come back to the middle and you find some middle ground. In the middle ground, your tailbone is all the way down on the mat. And if you notice, though my lower back may look like it's down, this would be my lower back pushing into the floor. My lower back is actually curving forward a little bit here in its natural position. Then what I'm looking for is, can I maintain this position of my back as I'm moving my legs? So I start to bring a knee up, and I look at maintaining that pelvic position as I lift my legs. And this requires a whole lot of work in my abdominals and my back muscles to hold me in this position. The common fault that I'll see here is people bring their knees in and they move their back to bring the knee in. So that every time they're moving their leg, they're moving their back, which leads to a whole lot of back movement that's completely unnecessary. So the tail stays down, the knees come up. Then you can play around with bringing both knees up. When both knees are up, the pelvis will rock back a teeny bit just to help stabilize the spine, but not a huge amount. Again, it's not here. It's still long. And I'm looking at pulling these abdominal muscles in all the way around my torso and my waistline, not just shoving front to back. Then I'm going to play with, can I keep that pelvic positioning with my legs straight up without tucking back or arching forward? And then can I lower my legs a little bit, keeping the inner thigh squeezed, holding it together, still be able to breathe, and where's my edge here? And this is how you figure out your leg position for any exercise where you're going to be on the floor, which is, where can you keep the position of the pelvis stable? Now, the reason for really focusing on pelvic stability is the fact that 90% of Americans are walking around in lower back pain, which says to me that their lower backs are moving way too much and their pelvises are not stable. So I highly recommend on a daily basis just practicing the tilting and the arching, finding neutral, and then practicing the knee folds, which is the simplest way to focus on your own pelvic stability and make sure that you're not moving your back every single time you move your legs. Please let me know how you enjoyed this video. Visit me on the web at www.lindalippin.com. And please note that I am not a medical professional. The advice that I'm giving you is based on advice for generally healthy people who have been cleared by their physicians for exercise. Thanks and have a great day.